The Cheese, Welsh and George Jennings all out through injury. They welcome back Eremire on the wing, Munster at 6, Harry Grant at 9, Jesse Bromwich will start at 8, as well as Nelson comes into the starting team. And for Tyrone Wishart keeps his 14 spot. For the Bunnies, Latrell comes back at 1, which pushes Johnston to 2, I should say. And pretty much as per program, the rest of the side. Barney, you can lead us away.
I'm going Storm 13 plus. Nothing that I saw out of South inspired me whatsoever. I thought the Tigers actually put up a decent effort against the Storm and challenged them. So the Storm will be better again this week. I think Latrell helps South. They'll probably score a few more points than what they scored last week. But I think Melbourne absolutely dominate the ruck, and that gives Harry Grant endless opportunities to be man of the match. South, as I said, will look better in attack, but Melbourne will win well. I think Harry, man of the match, 13 plus, and first try scorer, Remus Smith.
Gumpy?
Yeah, I'll go 13 plus. Melbourne at home, a homecoming for them. They'll their spine is their spine now. This is their spine. With no injuries, this will be their spine for the year. The Cheese will play 13 when he comes back. They won't muck around with Cheese and Harry Grant sharing that role. Harry Grant's an 80-minute hooker. Cheese is probably an 80-minute 13 for them.
Yep.
Latrell coming back will probably make a difference for South, but I can't see them matching up in the forwards or out wide for that fact. I think that I agree with Barney. I think Harry Grant will be the man of the match, and I'll go for the first try scorer for Xavier Coates. I think they'll go out to his side, and he's a good finisher. I think they'll play a lot to that side of the field. Excited to see the new Cameron Munster in terms of body and attitude, to see how he goes, because he's a bit like Latrell, can get that white line fever a bit on the field. So hopefully that they both sort of calm that down and they have a full season and we can get to see them, at their very best. But yeah, I can't see Melbourne getting beaten. But I said that with the Roosters last week.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So who
As we all
knows?
did.
But I'll go 13 plus the Storm.
Cal?
Yeah, exactly the same. Melbourne 13 plus. Harry Grant to cover up, but I think Jerome Hughes will have another good week in that tiring ruck against South. He just picks holes and runs through them, and he's always got support there. So I think he'll have a very good week. I can't see Rabbits doing much. The trail back, but I mean, I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference. They were poor as last week, and Storm are only going to get better with Grant back. So
The first try scorer for us?
Eremire. I'd like a bit of Eremire.
Carbon copper for me, 13 plus for the Storm. They will own this pack again, as you've all said. I'm going to give it to, you mentioned the fresh Munster, the other fresh up. I'm going to give him man of the match. I think he's fit and firing and I think motivated. So we're going to see.
Make an absolute difference, yeah.
He has to be involved here and there, and he'll tear that tiring ruck apart just as well. So looking forward to seeing that. And I'll go first try, Justin Olam crashing over the top and taking that geek Jackson Paulo with him.
It's normally my favourite, to be honest. I normally go Olam.
The Friday night kicks off with the Dragons and Penrith at, where are we at Jubilee.
Yep.
Dragons just lose Woods to injury. Molo comes in on starts. Burgess comes onto the bench. That would be George. Penrith lose Leota, as we've said, injured. Spencer Leniu starts. They bring Jamin Salmon onto the bench.
Jermaine, I think it is.
Jermaine. Okay, there's another. There's my first dollar of the day.
Jamin. It's Jamin.
It
There's
is
a dollar
Jamin,
in
you
there.
were right.
Jamin.
The fake fish.
So, yeah, he's onto the bench for them. Obviously, Penrith were outstanding last week. A real test for the Dragons this week. I'm going to go 13 plus. I think they'll be, we'll see more of the same. They'll own this forward pack and own the game. Without his partner up front there, I'm going to say Fisher Harris is going to make a point of owning it and be man of the match. And we'll go with Stephen Crichton. I thought he started the season hot, and I think he'll score first. Cal.
Yeah, Penrith 13 plus. Excited to see the Dragons attack though, see if they can really handle Penrith's defence. I don't know if they will, but excited to see Sloan and Lomax and Ravi take on the Penrith edges. But yeah, I think Stephen Crichton man of the match to expose that Dragons defence. And first try scorer, I'd say I'll go with Isaiah Yeo to crash over first.
Nice.
Thank you.
Rinse and repeat for the Storm game, to be honest. I think Penrith will absolutely dominate the middle of the field. It'll give endless opportunities to the 6 and 9. I'll switch it around this way, and I'll go with man of the match with Luai. I think we've already seen what he does on the back of a dominant forward display. He hasn't been the main man for quite a while, and I think this may be his game to take that opportunity. And I'm going to go with Appy to crash over. He's always a good bet. He loves a dart out of dummy half, and if they're close enough early in the game, I'm going to go with Coruscant first try scorer.
I'm only going to go Penrith 1-12. I think they'll win, and I don't think it'll ever be in any doubt. But Penrith
Have those games
normally, don't rack up big scores. So that's the only reason I'm going 1-12. 13 plus wouldn't surprise me. That's like a rinse and repeat for you guys, basically, from what you said. I'm going to go the man of the match, Vili Kikau. I think that his size might prove the difference. As I said, I'm a bit worried about St George's size, and I think that Vili Kikau, I'll go man of the match, and I'll go first try. I've got to go my old mate, Brian To'o. He should have scored first last week, please. But I'll go with him again for first try. I think if you pick him most weeks, you'll get some pays. So I'll go with that.
Roosters and Manly are the main event on Friday night at the SCG again. They've named Radley and Smith, both pending final checks. And Manly welcome back Dylan Walker on the bench for Cooler. At the moment, Weir Hargraves is named to start, but Fletcher Baker started last week. That could be swapped out, I suppose. Cal, lead us away.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good battle. Two teams coming off tough losses. They're going to want to really prove themselves right. But I've tipped Manly 1-12. I think Manly will come out on top. I'm still not sure about Roosters, their forward pack. But as we said, Manly as well, they didn't look great last week in their attack. But I think Tommy, a bit more of a difference this week. I'll go to man of the match. You got to go Tommy if Manly are going to win, I guess. If they're going to score points, it's got to be him. And first try, I'll go with Saab.
Go on.
Intercept.
Nobody in front of him, mate.
Wow.
Intercept try.
Wow. I'm going to go the Roosters 13 plus. I reckon I'll touch them up.
Wow.
I reckon trial game last week for the Roosters, I think they'll be better. I don't think they'll make the errors they made last week.
Kick up the arse.
I think that I just like the Roosters. I know you guys tipped to win the comp, and I did, and I think they'll be there and thereabouts. I'm not going to pen them. Manly, again, I think are flat track bullies. They didn't beat a top 4 side last year. If we think Roosters are going to be top 4 this year, then I don't think they'll beat them either. I'm going to go man of the match, Tedesco, in the battle of the fullbacks. I think he was quiet last week, Tedesco. I think that, I'll go for him for the first try as well. Tedesco. There you go. Make it nice and easy.
I'm going to go Roosters 1-12, and I thought long and hard about tipping him 13 plus. I think they're probably specials, and they'll be better for the run. A fired up forward pack. I think they'll own this forward pack again. Man of the match, Angus Crichton. Now he's had the barrier trial, and a pretty average one at that. He'll be much more motivated. And Momirovski, first try, past your mate, the Sabra.
Mama. Love Mama.
I'm actually going to go Manly 1-12 against my better judgment. I realistically do think that the Roosters are going to get a kick up the arse, but I think Manly may as well. I just saw a little bit more combination out of... I can see a bit more combination out of Manly through the halves and back through the middle than what I saw out of the Roosters last week, which really concerned me, to be honest. I think they may take another 2 or 3 weeks to get up and going. I'm going to go man of the match, Tommy, but I'm actually going to go first try scorer Crichton on that right edge left edge for the Roosters.
Yeah, both those back rowers for Roosters could run wild against the edge defence, but we'll find out. Saturday kicks off. Titans and Warriors up there. They welcome back AJ Brimson. The Titans do at 6, which pushes Smith to the 14 role. And Reece Walsh back, Matt Lodge back, which moves Harris Tavita into the 6. It sees Nicarima drop out of the side, which is interesting.
Don't understand that.
Yeah, that's weird. But anyway, they also have Arthur's Pompey and Ash Taylor at 7, all coming into the team. This is pretty simple for me. Titans have points in them and the Warriors don't. So I looked at it and thought, look, I'm still tipping 1 to 12, and having just read out those changes to the back line, I may even upgrade that. But I think they're going to be very hard to beat. First try, Patrick Herbert.
Flick past the city.
Gumpy's going to start putting us all in the car park, surely. Run at me, bro.
You can have
That's worse than Saab.
How about the Gump Daily Double? Saab all up.
All up Herbert.
I'm going to have $10 on that.
Saab's not that bad. Come on.
It's just for you there, Gump.
I'm having $10 on that.
With the biggest win you've had
Pencil
for
it in.
years.
And if they let Mo play an hour, he'll be man of the match. Barney.
True. Yeah. I really, it's going to be a really good match in the forwards. I think the Warriors will actually probably get the edge over in the middle. But as I mentioned before, I think the Warriors have got a few scarecrows in defence out there on their outside edges, and you got a few blokes out there that are mobile and get around. You're going to get Fafita probably crash over for the first try, and I think Sexton will be man of the match. I think he put in a pretty good performance last week. And if they're starting to run rings around the Warriors out wide, he'll be able to put it on a platter for a few of these blokes to crash over and score tries. So,
Cal?
Yeah, I think
1 to 12. Sorry, too.
This is a tricky match in terms of margins, I think, because I don't trust the Titans at all, nor do I trust the Warriors with points.
Yep.
But I'm going to go Titans 13 plus. I think Bo Firma will crash over first, but I think Sexton, like Barney said, will put in a man-of-the-match performance. I really liked him last week. Good composure on the ball, knows what he's doing. So I think Warriors without SJ, they got Walsh back, but I'm not sure about him. So
13 plus Titans. If the Titans defend like they did in the second half, it could be 40 plus. I think they've got seriously, I think they've got points in them. And if the Warriors clock off for 40 minutes like they do most games, they could do some serious damage if they get the early ball to Fafita and the like and those kind of guys. I'm going to go
Patrick Herbert to the world.
I'm going to go Jaden Campbell man of the match. I think it's a kind of team that he'll sort of spring around and put some grubber kicks in and sort of do that and might a couple of freakish kind of tries. And I'm going to go Brian Kelly first try.
I like that.
Because he's a super coach. He went all right for me last week, so I'm going to go Brian Kelly first try. I hope he scores like 4 and Fafita scores 4 because he's in super coach. So, yeah, if they score 8 tries, they can do 4 each. But I think the Titans will win easy.
Very good. The Sharks and Para meet at Shark Park, where, Cam McGuinness is named on an extended bench, but they are having, who have they got here? Where's my notes? Connor Tracy back on extended bench as well as the only real change for the Sharks. We have Walker Blake out to the wing. Penasini, Opacek become the centres. And Oregon Kafusi named at 13. Nathan Brown and Bryce Cartwright both on the bench. Barney.
Oh, it's going to be a bit of a biased tip here, but honestly, I thought the Sharks probably played a tougher game than Parramatta did last week. There was some definite exposed defence out on that edge for Parramatta, so I think that's where the Sharks are going to focus their attack on that left-hand side, right-hand Parramatta defence. I think if the Sharks can drag this game back into a grind and make it go through the middle, they can probably scrape by with a 2-point win or a 4-point win. Sharks 1 to 12, man of the match. If Sharks win, it has to be Nico. He'll be the one that will be supplying the ball for... who's on that left edge? It'll be Mulatano for first try.
This is a definite game of the round contender for sure. But I'm going to tip Eels 1 to 12. I just think a bit more class and quality in their back line, and Moses will sneak them over the line. The Sharks are still improving. They're going to have to get those combinations right with Moylan and Nico. But, yeah, I think Gutherson, man of the match, and I'll say he'll crash over for the first 2. So
Yeah.
2. Nice.
2. Gumpy.
I'm going to pick Para 1 to 12. If they couldn't, Cronulla have got to muscle up in the forwards. They didn't handle Canberra for long parts of the game last week, and Parramatta forwards are probably better than the Canberra forwards with your Paulos and RCGs and Papali'is and Nathan Brown, and the list goes on with them, and Sean Lane, those big bodies on edges and middle. So I think that 1 to 12. Look, it's not. I'm not overly confident. I think the Sharks at home are always hard to beat, and I don't know that Parramatta will finish heaps higher than the Sharks on the ladder. But look, I think at this time of the year, Parramatta are probably a bit too classy, as Cal said. I'm going to go first try scorer for Wonga Blake. I think now he's out in the wing. I think he doesn't have to pass the ball, doesn't have to worry about passing the ball, just catch it and run, Wonga. And I'm going to have man of the match for Mitch Moses. I think, it's his year to take control. And, if Parramatta win, I think Mitch Moses goes a long way to win them the game.
Yeah, I'm going Para 1-12 as well. Covered off pretty well there. Sharks' hope is to drag them down to their level and try and make it a bit gritty. I'm not sure if that really even suits them too, but I feel like Para have points in them. Gutho, man of the match, again, better for the run. Will be involved on both sides. And I am going to double down and make Waka Blake first try scorer as well.
I'll add him in with Herbert and Saab.
There's your treble.
There we go.
Now
I've got a quadruple coming soon.
Talk about games of the round. The Cowboys and the Raiders. Up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Sanua Brown goes out, which sees McLean come into the starting lineup, another hero of Gumps. Cohen Hess starts at the front row. Tamalolo at 13. Frawley comes in for Schneider. Starling starts at 9, and Adrian Trevelyan is added to the bench in his first grade debut. Yeah, Raiders are specials. The only reason I haven't tipped them by more is because I want to see it first, but now I'll make it 13 plus, who cares. Going to say Chan's first try scorer, and I think if Whiten plays the way he did last week, he might have his hands all over this game. Gumpy.
Yeah, 13 plus Raiders. The scoreboard attendant will be the busiest person at the ground, I reckon. The Raiders, they're not a big point-scoring team, but I think that they'll find ways to score that the Cowboys just don't have in terms of that. The Cowboys need to muscle up and have a red-hot crack if they're interested in keeping their coach there. If they're not, then they get flogged. I'm going to go man of the match. I'm going to go Matt Frawley on his return. I think Matt Frawley, man of the match. And I'm going to go for Matt Tomoko to score the first try.
Man.
Okay, yeah, well, Gump has just stole both my first try scorer man of the match picks. Just because I do love a bit of Matty Frawley.
Double down.
And Raiders 13 plus. But yeah, Cowboys just don't have the quality. Simply not there. I think Corey Hayward-Naera will also play a very good game. I think he'll just carve up or Lukey or Nanai, whichever one's on that edge. I think Raiders just far too good on those.
If
on
you're
those
having a
forwards.
first try scorer bet, he's a tremendous one, I think, in this game.
I think if the Raiders play anything like they did in that first half against Sharks, they will absolutely dominate the middle of the field, and I think you'll find the first 2 or 3 tries will probably come right next to the post, straight through the middle of the Cowboys' defence. On the back of that, I think Tuppeny will probably get man of the match. He was offloading well last week against the team that were trying to shut him down, and I can't see the Cowboys shutting him down at all. So he might have 10 offloads and a couple of try assists in and around the post very early in this match. Raiders 13 plus, and first try scorer we'll go with Starling from a offload off Tuppeny to score under the post.
Nice. Sunday kicks off up at Newcastle. The Knights taking on the Tigers. Unchanged lineup for the Knights, and James Tarmo comes back in for the Tigers. Yeah.
Twirl to the bench.
Which pushes Twirl to the bench and Garner out of the side. Go on, Cal, what are you doing?
I can't believe that Twirl has been dropped, first of all, for Tarmow, for God's sake, the 20-minute captain. But anyway, I'm still going to be a bit biased and go Tigers 1-12. I think the Knights, they did have a good win last week, but I don't know. I still don't know about the halves. And Clune, I don't know about him, and Clifford. But I'm going to go Tigers 1-12. I'm going to go Brooksy's going to get man of the match. And
he does like playing Newcastle.
For the quadruple, Jimmy the Jet first try.
Barn?
The Knights put up a good performance against a very substandard Roosters, and the Tigers put up a really good performance against probably an average Melbourne Storm. So if I'm going to draw a line through those two games, I'm going to go with the Tigers 1-12. I think Luciano will probably be man of the match on that right edge, just busting holes at will. He seems to do it against anybody, so why not do it against the Knights Knights right edge that isn't the best in defence in the world. And we'll go first try scorer. We'll go with Mamala again because he's now absolutely put his name up as a point of attack for the Tigers. So I can see them going to him probably 50% of the time they're down in attacking position.
Gumpy?
Yeah, I'm going for a draw. Golden Point Knights.
Okay.
With a Jake Clifford field goal. There you go. I'll even tell you.
He's no chance.
I'm going for a draw.
We take Ollie's line there and put $1 on it.
I find it very hard to tip the game.
Yeah.
Last week they were both good, but I've tipped them both to be in the bottom 4. So
absolutely.
Maybe home ground. They sort of cancel each other out in the forwards a bit. Like I think their forward packs are pretty similar. The edges, probably the Tigers have the edge on the edges. If Kalen Ponga has a day out, then Newcastle probably win. He probably the difference in the teams going forward. So I'm going to pick Kalen Ponga to be the man of the match. And I'm going to go first try scorer, the old mate, for a quadruple, Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
No way.
He'll have a new house on Sunday morning, so it's Monday morning. I'm going to go Tigers 1-12, just going, a little bit back in grade, as they say, after giving the Storm a scare. And at the end of the day, we want to see both teams back up because Newcastle, you can't trust them anymore as much. Well, you can't trust them any more than you could trust the Tigers. Haven't been drinking tonight. Luciano first try scorer on the edge there. And if it does get down and dirty, I think Jackson Hastings might make the difference. Man of the match, just wanting his hands on the ball.
I have a question before we go to the last game. I just want to know if Jack Gozlewski's playing this week because we didn't
on the bench.
Didn't get
number
a
17.
Yeah, number 17, Jack Gozowski.
Okay, that's. I'm glad.
Georgeski.
Yep, I'm glad.
Gozlewski.
I'm glad he's in the team. I just wanted to check if he was in the team.
No, he is. He's there.
Good.
That's why I said unchanged, so I don't have to go through them all again.
But I like it. I think the Dragons, we need to check that Jack's
just
playing.
ask everyone. Because I'm going to start bringing the Jack jar. That sounded wrong, didn't it? Anyway.
Jar of Jack.
Jack. All right, the Dogs in Brisbane on Sunday night, the Bulldogs time slot. So, TPJ's back. Comes back in to start at 12. Luke Thompson named to start at 8. And Maxie's still on the bench. Max King. Tessie New back for Brisbane at fullback. Reynolds named, which sees Albert Kelly move to 6 and retain the half spot there. And Billy Walters at 17. Well, Brisbane are the better of the round. They'll win this. They will be very tough. They'll match your forwards, and Reynolds back in will control this game, which is what the Dogs don't have. So easy for me to tip them. I'm going to say first try scorer. Well, I thought of it this way. Who's going to find that lovely Bulldogs corridor that they have about 2 wide there? And I thought Jordan Ricky might be the one to score first. Man of the match, we'll keep going with Carrigan, but it's probably going to be Huss. Gump, what are you doing?
Bulldogs will win.
All right.
Yeah.
1-12. I think they'll win this week. I think TPJ playing against his old club.
Sin bin.
Well, there's 2 ways of going. He's either sitting off or
he might get the sin bin, but I think that TPJ will be the difference in this game. I think that he'll pose real problems for them out wide. I think if the Bulldogs can hold Payne Haas in the forwards, which is easier said than done, but if they can have Thompson and Ava and Maxi King and Vaughan to do a job in the middle and sort of contain him, I think that the rest of them sort of cancel each other out in terms of that. In terms of ability, I'm just relying on the fact that, I think that TPJ might have a good game. I'm going to go man of the match for TPJ, and I'm going to back the Fox. I think the Fox might get over for his first try for the Dogs this week. And
run length of the field, is he?
Well, I don't care if he runs 1 metre or 100 metres.
That's true.
Daggy, as long as he gets the ball over the stripe for 4 points, I don't give a shit how far he runs. But I'm going to go for the Bulldogs. There you go.
Beauty, Cow.
I'm going to go Bronx 1-12. I think Bulldogs will improve though, but a couple of inclusions back for the Broncos. I think Tessie New will crash over for the first possible minute of the match, but it's hard to look past Haas when the Broncos win. Like he's that good. He's just got that engine. When they win, he's always there. So it's hard to go past him. But Reynolds big him as well.
Yeah, I'm going to double down with Haas for man of the match. I think the Bulldogs will contain pretty much every one of their forwards except for Payne Haas because nobody else has been able to do it for the majority of the time he's played in the NRL. Broncos 1-12. I think Selwyn Cobbo will make somebody look silly for the first try of the game, and it's going to be. I think it'll be closer than most people will predict, but I think the Broncos will just get away with it at the end.